What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Sofi is going to see massive breakouts likely by year end of 2022, certainly over the next couple of years. We are seeing very large institutional orders that are being placed on Sofi, and this is something you do not see in most stocks, specifically when the stock is selling off into the ground. We just hit our low at $10.51 per share on Friday, and we've pretty much been selling off. But what is very interesting about this, if you take a look at the order flow sentiment, these are not your retail investors buying a couple calls, a couple puts. These are large orders, hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars per order. On Friday, we seen 13 positive orders, 6 negative orders. The positive value, the dollar amount ratio between positive or calls compared to puts was 82.64%, with a positive value of 4.14 million and a negative value of $870.14 thousand, a positive order percentage of 68.42%. So what is that telling you? Institutional investors are placing big bets and going long on SoFi stock relative to the smaller, less dollar amount short positions that they are putting on or betting against the stock. But zoom this out to the last week, and that's where it gets really interesting. So positive orders is at 130 for the last week, negative orders at 54. The positive value, the dollar amount, is 70.57%, so substantially overweighted to the positive side. And the positive value is $50.65 million. The negative value is $21.12 million. The positive order flow in general is 70.27%. These are not numbers that you would expect to see on a stock that is selling off into the ground, specifically a SPAC stock as well. They're not very highly favored at the current moment. And what is this telling you? The institutional investors are loading up and making their bets for SoFi to go higher in 2022. But let's take a look at the time frame on these actual orders and what the dollar amounts are for these orders. We can see that we have one put right here for February 4th, so very risky, expiring next week for $10.50 strike. 740 of these at $43 per contract, and that was a block trade of about 32,000. Now we do have March 18th $10 calls, adding up to $110.5 thousand. Another January 2023 $15 call, adding up to about $39,000. And here's another big order, a January 19th 2024 $5 call for $214,000. This is one order, ladies and gentlemen. This is not even spread out. This is an institutional investor that wants to get into their position very, very fast. We do have an April 21st, 2023 $5 call as well for $138,000. Another $51,000 order right here on the call side for January 2023, $12.50. And other smaller orders mixed in here and there. Here is a large put trade, 2 large put trades that are for the $20 strike, but they need the stock substantially lower to actually be break even. Here's a January 19, 2024 $15 call for $123,000. Here's a $318.5 $1,000 call order as well for December 15th, 2023, $12.50 call. So pretty much everybody is betting that SoFi does go a whole hell of a lot higher in the longer term. All of these puts are very short term, with the longest dating put I can see right here for April 14th. So I think that does suggest something to us, and I think it says that, hey, in the short term, SoFi could go down a little bit more, but in the longer term sense, by the end of the year, I think we're going to be substantially higher. And if you guys just seen the last video I posted, we went through the 5-star analyst that did just initiate a $20 price target on SoFi by the end of the year. So very interesting. He has about a 65% positivity rate and about a 15% annualized return. So not bad altogether. Now, if we do take a look at the short interest, because the markets run in cycles. So at some points, oil stocks are in favor, dividend stocks and value stocks. Sometimes it's hyper growth stocks. Sometimes it's penny stocks. Sometimes it's biopharmaceutical penny stocks. So you guys get the idea. These stocks come and go. Sometimes it's meme stocks. And SoFi falls somewhere in the category of a meme stock and not a meme stock. It's more of a retail stock. There is a high amount of institutional ownership as well, but retail does own a lot of this stock. Now, the short interest is 16.1%, about 100 million shares that are sold short, with a cost to borrow slightly above average at about 3.14%. The share utilization is 55.88%, and that is if, say, the share utilization was 100%, all 100% of available shares have been sold short. So we're at 55%, so there is a decent amount of shares that still can be sold short. Days to cover at 2.45. So this looks very encouraging for some short-term rallies in SoFi, because once that rotation comes back into your small and mid-cap stocks, you're going to see that move much higher to the upside with SoFi. Something that is also very encouraging is the institutional buys that have been happening, because you don't typically see a stock that just IPO'd see institutional buying. You usually see nothing but selling. If we pull up Facebook or pull up Snapchat, nobody's buying those stocks. They're all selling those stocks. So to see about a 50-50 rate between buyers and sellers of SoFi, I think it is a good sign that the company's chairman, their CEO, believes in the company. And that's a huge red flag if it's all sells, if there's no buys. And you guys can see we've seen a lot of buys down here in August at about the $15 price range, $14 to $15 price range. No sells at the top. Any of these peaks, we have not seen a sell. And then a couple sells over here on the way down in late November and December, probably for tax reasonings, probably to pay a tax bill. And we've seen one buy since the start of this was actually December 10th, and we've seen one sell so far in 2022, but it was only 2,000 shares for $26,000. So a lot of buy orders that did go in for substantially higher dollar amounts. All of these about $85,000 a piece, and when they sell, they don't sell all too much. So that is looking good right there. Wanted to bring that to your guys' attention because it is something I do pay very close attention to with my largest holdings, and SoFi is one of my largest holdings. Now, let's break away from the actual raw data. Let's look at the Yahoo Finance page briefly, and then I want to bring you guys to this Motley Fool article that says, will SoFi Technologies be a breakout stock in 2022? So SoFi is rated 1.9, so in between a buy and a strong buy, with 7 analysts saying a strong, or 2 analysts saying a strong buy, 3 saying a buy, and 2 saying it is a hold. And if we do see the upgrades and downgrades, that pretty much everybody is overweight or buy on the stock as far as banks, investment banks, and analyst firms are concerned. And all of these are coming in, these 4 right here: Morgan Stanley to overweight, Goldman Sachs to neutral, Weedbush to outperform, and Rosenblatt to buy. All of this was in 2022 so far. So looking good in that aspect as well. If we do also take a look at the average price target, the low price target is $16 per share, and the high price target is $30 per share, where the average price target is $20.55. And these price targets are for 1 year's time. So this is not like a 5-year price target. These are 1 year price targets. So looking good in that aspect. It looks like a double up if you were to buy the stock right now. At the very least, about a 20, 30, 40, 50% return looks very likely, given we currently sit at $11.10 per share. Let's dive into this Motley Fool article now. It says, will SoFi Technologies be a breakout stock in 2022? The financial super app might be ready to shine this year. Key points. SoFi Technologies stock has fallen from recent highs despite the company's long-term prospects. A lot of good news might be on the way for SoFi shareholders. Receiving a national bank charter might set the stock off in 2022. And this was obviously before the bank charter actually happened. And I will link this down below in the description of this video. Definitely give this article a read. I already did, and it's very bullish and gives you guys a lot of good numbers and a lot of insights for SoFi. But I really want to read the bottom two paragraphs to you here in this video. It says, investors could be waiting for some sort of formal approval to begin pricing pricing this into the stock, SoFi recently named Chad Bortman the new president of SoFi Bank. Bortman previously worked as an executive at other banks, including USAA and Fifth Third. The company has also beefed up its balance sheet, recently redeeming stock warrants related to its SPAC merger and raising $1.1 billion in convertible debt in October. These moves could be in anticipation of receiving approval for the charter. If SoFi can continue to acquire users for its super app, and if student loan or origination picks up in 2022, the bank charter might be the big push the stock needs to steal the spotlight next year. Now, that's something very important that I want to point out is student loan originations. So SoFi got its start in the financial space because of student loan refinancing. And what has been happening over the past 2 years, people have not had to pay their student loans back. They haven't had to make any payments if it is a federal student loan. So when you think about it like that, why would anybody refinance their student loans if they don't have to pay their payments? Probably not too many people would. That's why you actually seen a very slow growth rate compared to SoFi's other businesses in their student loan sector, their most mature sector of their business. It only grew about 7 to 9%, if I do recall, in 2022. But once people have to start paying back those student loans in May, it's very much likely that a lot of people will refinance their student loans. And if you search refinance student loans, SoFi comes up front and center. So I think SoFi is going to benefit from that, as well as all of the other businesses that they own in 2022. So hopefully you guys got some value out of this video. If you did, hit that like button for me, subscribe to the channel if you guys are not already, and you want to stay up to date with the most up-to-date factual information for SoFi. You guys enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you in the next one.